G'day folks, in this video I'll do a walkthrough solve of this arches cube. It's the two opposing arches on adjacent faces. Well, that was the name given by Dave when he posted it on the thread initially. Just a few pictures of fairly, well, I'm going to say simple comparatively. You can see two arches adjacent faces, but they're opposing, so they're not parallel, I suppose. And this is a bit trickier than it looks also, because a lot of these ones with two arches, you sort of think, well, it can't be that hard. But you soon discover there's more to it than meets the eye. So in terms of doing a scramble, I'm hopefully going to show that because of the fact that there's two arches, it does block a reasonable amount of stuff, and you end up using a lot of M terms to scramble. Now, thankfully, we don't need to use any M terms. Actually, is that a lie? There might be one occasion where we use an M term, but it's not part of an algorithm. So we can use normal, very, very normal solving methods here. Standard algorithms is what I'm going to say. And I always like that. I much prefer to use standard algorithms if at all possible. So I'm just going to try to keep getting this better scrambled. You can see that it's getting there, but it is quite tricky. Particularly some pieces, you just end up going, when is that going to get out of place? And you can see straight away I've managed to bring those back. Now, obviously, I can't separate these two and I can't separate these two. That's fine. Do a little bit of that for a minute. Let's take that. There, that's a bit better, looking better. I will do an M turn and then move that around. How's that looking? Probably reasonably okay. I reckon I'm happy enough with that. Okay, so I said there were pretty normal algorithms here, and there certainly are. And that includes the flipping edges algorithm that I would normally use with one slight change. So the very first thing that I want to do here is just resolve the arches into their correct positions. I suppose first of all, that's a matter of getting the center under this arch. I've chosen white and blue. Doesn't really matter what color you use. I would then go, I'll get that arch out of the way and put that onto its correct faces. And then say, where does this blue arch go? That's the red, which is around here. Okay, I think we're now good. So I've got the correct center in each of those faces, so all the other centers should be fine. Now, what you'll notice as soon as you do that is a lot of stuff just appears that it's magically solved. It's not really that. It's just that these things can't unsolve. So those three pieces, sorry, those two pieces and these two are all solved, and they just look like everything's solved, especially since we've got the centers in there as well. So we've got that done. What I want to do is hold it, and this is the position I'm going to use for most of the solve. So I've got this central arch on my left face, and I've got this arch here along an edge on my back face. Now, I'm going to start by just trying to complete this white red, in fact white blue edge here, and then the blue red edge, and that'll kind of be like as if we're building up a fuse cube or something like that. This is about the only time when I do have to use slice moves, possibly, and you'll see what I mean right about now. So what I can do is certainly move the front face, no problem, and I can see that the white blue piece belongs in this position where I've got an orange yellow. And I notice that the white sticker needs to be on the yellow face, or on that yellow sticker. So what I'm going to do is just use this slice move, turn it around like that, and just test. Does that then turn into its position correctly? You can see that it does. Then I can just turn it back, and that's solved. Now, obviously, there may be times when it's not, and I'll guarantee to encounter some of those times later in the solve. It's the same technique. Let's try it with the red blue. I've got the same sort of thing, but this time I want to have the red blue so it's on this face able to turn up. So you'll notice at the moment it's here. So how do I get it down? I'll just turn the back face, move it down. I can bring that back face back again. Okay, again, let's try saying the red has got to go where the green is here. So if I turn that down, you can see, yes, that's going to turn in. So what would happen if it wasn't like that? Well, let me demonstrate the flipping of edges. Now, there's two fairly standard ways to flip edges that I'm aware of. One of them is FUR, U prime, R prime, F prime. The reason I'm not going to use that is because that ends up putting the edges in different places from where they started. So the one I'm going to use is where I have two edges here that need flipping, and they are going to land back in these positions. Now, if you think about that, the first thing that I need to do is do that and that. I need an FR turn. Well, I can turn my F face, but not my R. So I'll set that up by moving the back face. And now let's just flip these two edges. So I want to do down, down, up, up. Then I need to do an upturn and a right turn. Well, the right turn I can do, but I can't do the upturn. So now I will turn this face like that. That now enables me to do an upturn. And what you'll notice is that these three edges here, which are the ones that I'm dealing with, are not affected by those two turns. So now that I've done that, I can do U prime R, U, R prime, which is the really standard edge flipping algorithm. I'll bring those arches back, and just to show you that it's changed it, when I now try and bring that down, if I try and turn this red blue piece up, you'll notice that has gone into its position, flipped. Well, I don't want that. So let's imagine that's what's happened. I'll bring that back. Let's now flip back the red, blue, and the green, orange. So I'll turn that back face for the first set, and then turn this left face for the second. Bring them both back, and I can now go ahead, place that red, blue, and you can see that I have this sort of fuse cube thing going on here. Well, that's how I'm really going to do all of the edges, is just to put them in position if they need flipping, to flip them. I'm going to go methodically, so I'm going to have a look at this next one, which is blue, orange. I'm not going to do slice turns anymore, because when I turn this face, you'll notice that that position comes around to here, and I can move it sort of wherever I want it. So where's the blue, orange? Okay, the blue, orange is here. Let's see how that goes. I've got to get the blue onto the yellow. So I think the first thing that I would do would actually be to move that blue, yellow, probably to there, just to set it there. I can move its position and everything. Now, the piece that I need to get it onto now is the orange, green, and the blue needs to go to the orange. So if I turn that up, let's see how I can get the blue to the orange. Well, in order to just turn that across, again, I can just do an extra setup and do a 3 cycle of these pieces, undo the setup, and when I turn that back around, that has placed correctly into its position. Okay, the next one I'll do is this yellow, orange here. That's got to go to the green, yellow. Let's have a look. Once again, I'll turn that back face, and I want the yellow, orange to go to the green, yellow. Well, you can see that I can just turn that straight up and do a 3 cycle like normal. That's all done. Undo that turn, undo the setup. That's good, that's good. So we're getting there, no problem. The next one I would do would be this blue, yellow. The blue, yellow has got to go, which is sitting here. That's got to go to the white, green. Now, you'll notice that at the moment, that's going to turn up to this position, and I'm going to need to turn things like that. Now, that being the case, what I'd like to do is turn the piece around to there, but you can see that it's flipped. So this is a case where I just put that back for the moment, and I'm going to flip the blue, yellow. Whatever else is here, I don't care about because I haven't done it yet. So I just happily go away and do the first set of moves. set that up and do the second. Okay, undo, undo. My blue yellow is now flipped. That's got to go to the green white. So I'll do that setup and that setup. Do a U2, undo my setups, and we are good. You can see the edges are starting to build up here. The reason I've done it like this is because I've got free turning on this front face. So all of these edges I'll do last. I want to take care of these harder ones. This I want to leave because that forms part of a 3 cycle here. So that tells me that it's these 2 edges next which I'm interested in. Don't care which one. So the first thing I could do is actually just turn that like that. So the orange green is in place. The next thing I see will be this one, which is the green yellow. Sorry, that's the green white. It's in, but it's flipped. So temporarily, I'll turn it up to there and I'll flip that one. And when I put it back, you can see that is now correct. That's correct still. What do we have left? We have a 3 cycle of red, yellow, red, green, and green, yellow. Now, if we didn't have a 3 cycle, let's say we had a swap of these 2 pieces, we will need to turn a face 1 turn. On a normal cube, I'd turn the yellow face, the upper face 1 turn. On this one, what I would do would be to turn that front face 1 turn and then resolve those edges like normal. But in this case, I don't have that. I've got a 3 cycle. So let's see how I can do that. I really need to turn the right face and then the upper face. So once again, I'll just set up until that is possible to do, which is now. I can cycle those 3 pieces home, undo, undo, and all of the edges are in place. Now, I hope you'll agree that is pretty simple turns, just a matter of setting things up. Alrighty, now the next stage is to solve the corners. And again, I'm looking at simple turns here. The very first one I want to look at is this bottom corner that's out of the way. It's the white, orange, blue corner. Now, every single time I do anything, I'm going to have to do that turn. So at the moment, that's where I want to place it, the white, orange, blue. And I see that the actual corner is over here. So for a setup, I'm going to turn this right face to put its position there. And I'm now going to do 3 down, down, up, ups. And what that is going to do is swap those 2 pieces and swap these 2. There's 1, 2, 3. Now you remember I had a setup of this face, so I'll undo that. And when I undo that setup, I'll look at the back and sure enough, the blue, white, orange is in its position. Good. That's the hardest of the corners. I always have to do this. So what's the next one? I now don't want to get that out of position. The next one I want to take care of is this one. This is white, green, orange. So I have a look at where it is and I see that it's sitting over here. So as a setup this time, I'll turn that front face and now these 2 will swap. Okay, undo, undo. That is still in position. That one is now in position. How many does that leave? 1, 2, 3, 4. I must do this setup. And what I'm now going to find is that I'm going to have another 2 plus 2 swap. And so the orange, blue, yellow and the white, green, red need to swap. And this orange, green, yellow and the red, green, yellow also need to swap. So I've never encountered anything that doesn't end like this, that requires some sort of weird 3 cycle. So this is why I say simple turns. 3 of these. Can't really get much more simple than a down, down, up, up. I'll return that and I'll find that all my corners are in place and they just need to be twisted. So the last step is to in fact twist them, and I just want to hold things slightly differently here. What I'm going to go for is something like, let me get the right, I think it's going to be that sort of setup there. So my central arch on the bottom face, I'm going to do a left turn here, And you'll notice that that frees the up face and the right face. Well, that is exactly what I need to do as soon. And I wonder which corners I've got to twist. That has got to go anti-clockwise. So does that, so does that. Okay, so when I do that setup, I need two pieces here. So what I might as well do is turn this one up, which I can easily remember, and just do a U prime. That'll get these two twisted, and this one should be correct. So to twist these two corners, I want to do a sewn, and then a sewn mirror. Now, I can happily turn this, but I cannot turn that upper face. So all that I need to do first is turn the down face 2 turns, and now I can do my sewn mirror. Alrighty, I'll undo that little setup. You'll see that has indeed twisted. Undo that U-turn, undo these 2 turns, and that leaves me only the final 2. So that yellow, green, red is clockwise. So if I put that up there, I don't really have any way to avoid this. So what I'll do, when I turn this around into position, that's got to go clockwise, but it's in the position for twisting anti-clockwise. So it just means I'm going to have to carry this out twice. Okay, there's the first one. And now they're in the position to twist as they need to. Turn that back. Undo my setups. In fact, which way is it? Hang on. Oh, that's right. I had a U2. There we go. And then that setup and that setup. And that's about as hard as it gets for this, what are we calling it? 2 opposing arches on adjacent faces. There's a walkthrough solve of that one. Thanks for watching.